Greetings and salutations. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is askEricMoss. I'm a personal trainer, motivational speaker, and a modern-day performing strongman. If you're unfamiliar with what a modern-day performing strongman is, picture the old-time strongman. Legends like the Mighty Atom and Alexander Zass. They would perform real-life feats of strength as part of a live show. I do a similar thing with a modern-day twist. Some of the feats of strength I've performed in front of a live audience include things like bending steel bars, breaking chains, twisting horseshoes, rolling up frying pans, driving nails through wooden boards by hand, and even holding back a high-performance motorcycle while taking off at full throttle. Now, being a modern-day performing strongman and the fact that there's not a whole lot of us around these days to answer people's questions, in an effort to generate content for my YouTube channel, as well as spreading the gospel on strength, I decided to start a YouTube series called askEricMoss, where I would invite you to ask me a question by dropping it in the comments below. And when you do that, I try to get back to you with your very own custom video, just for you. Pretty cool, right? So this question comes from Manaswaran Devar 7689. And he says, Eric, sorry to keep bombing you with questions. No need to apologize, Manaswaran. Doing this sort of thing helps me generate content for my YouTube channel and spread the gospel on strength and helps with my purpose of making the world strong. So Manaswaran says, I just wonder, after reading Mighty Atom book and listening to podcasts of his 60-year-old grandson, during the Mighty Atom era, I guess he had no timer to perform timed-based ISO training right, and he was performing almost every day at the theater and during his health products promotion. How did he develop that kind of strength by exerting every day? His grandson said he developed such strength by ISO training over and over, and his recovery influenced by our mental strength as well. He was a semi-vegetarian as well, and handling a big family too. From his book, it's not stated clearly, but I assume he would have done isometric training on a daily basis. Is that possible? Thanks, Eric, for your time. Thank you for asking that, Manaswaran. That's a loaded question, so we're going to try to take this piece by piece, one at a time. So, all right, let's see. So one of the things is, it's hard for me to speculate. I mean, I do have an in that I'm within the steel bending strongman world, and I even know the family. I knew, I've met Stephen Greenstein on a couple occasions, as well as the Mighty Atom Jr., Mike Greenstein, and Jerry Greenstein. And I've met a couple others that were like very close to the family as well. But a lot of the information of what the Mighty Atom did that's not stored in the book is just going to have been lost to the annals of time, and from things being lost in translation as it goes down from mentor to student or family member to family member. So in terms of during the Mighty Atom, or I guess he had no timer to perform timed-based ISO training, right? So one of the things is when it comes to training isometrics right, one of the things that I would point out is that the Mighty Atom was an absolute beast. The things that that man could do should be considered impossible. So as far as whether or not he was training right, whatever he was doing seemed to work for him. And if it worked for him, then it was right. So what else am I going to say? He was performing almost every day at the theater and during his health products promotion. How did he develop that kind of strength? By exerting every day. So one of the things is the way he looked at isometrics, and the way that my first mentor, New Jersey Superman Greg Matonic, looked at isometrics he didn't really look at it like isometrics. Greg wasn't a big fan of isometrics in the traditional sense of pushing and pulling against immovable objects. In his mind, and in the Mighty Atom's mind, the object was movable. He would just have to push harder, and he would push at things that were basically at the limit of what his abilities were until he could bend them. And in doing so, he would get shorter and shorter pieces of steel, thicker and thicker pieces of steel, kind of like progressive resistance training with steel bars as opposed to with weights. He was performing almost every day at the theater and during his health. So yes, he was training over and over, and eventually at some point your body adapts to the workloads. You know, like if you have a very physical type of job, it might be really, really difficult the first couple of days, but then after you get into the rhythm of it, suddenly the job is not so bad. The Mighty Atom's job was bending steel. And that was the only thing that he basically, and the other feats of strength were the only things that he was doing. Besides working as a mechanic prior to bending steel. So he had already developed some like pretty significant tendons from that as well as from training. And as far as like his recovery, part of it is his body getting used to working over and over and over and over again and recovering. It's like your body's ability to recover is actually something that can be trained. So when he's doing that over and over and over and over again, his body has an increased ability to be able to recover. The other thing was, you know, like you had asked if the mental stuff is something that can influence recovery. In my opinion, absolutely. The power of our mind is something that I don't think that people pay enough attention to when it comes to like recovery and for disease and stuff like that. Because if you've ever read the book As a Man Thinketh, people can literally think themselves sick, but they can also think themselves well to some extent. And you can visualize your body recovering from the training, and in doing so, influence your body to some extent from it. Now, how much that's going to be compared to not doing anything, who the heck knows? But the Mighty Atom was an absolute beast when it comes to this stuff, and we're still trying to figure him out years later. So what else? So anyways, I hope that answers your question. I know it was kind of chunky and piece by piece as I'm trying to like answer every part of this. But I hope that answers your question. If anybody has any additional questions or you need follow-up or anything like that, drop it in the comments below. But anyways, if you liked this video, let me know by hitting that like button. If you want to see more of this sort of thing, subscribe to the channel. And if you think anybody should see this, please share it with them. This isn't rocket science. But in the meantime, please stay happy, healthy, and strong. Eric Moss, over and out.